Syria stands at a crossroads, its political landscape dramatically reshaped by the recent overthrow of Bashar al-Assad's regime. The nation, ravaged by years of brutal civil war, now faces the daunting task of rebuilding under a new administration headed by Ahmed al-Sharaa, also known as al-Julani, the leader of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. This transition marks a pivotal moment in Syria's history, ushering in a period of profound uncertainty as the nation grapples with the legacy of conflict and the challenges of forging a new path toward peace and stability. A caretaker government established in the wake of the regime change has assumed the responsibility of maintaining essential state institutions, ensuring continuity amidst a period of significant political transition. However, the road ahead is fraught with complexities. The new government faces the formidable challenge of uniting a deeply divided nation, healing the wounds of war and addressing the urgent needs of a population reeling from years of violence and displacement. The international community watches with bated breath, its response to the new regime crucial in shaping Syria's trajectory. The question of sanctions, imposed on the previous government, takes center stage as the new administration appeals for their lifting to facilitate reconstruction and economic recovery. The success of this endeavor hinges on navigating intricate geopolitical dynamics and garnering international support for Syria's fragile transition. As Syria embarks on this uncertain chapter, the world holds its breath, hoping for a brighter future for a nation that has endured unimaginable suffering. The path ahead is long and arduous, demanding unwavering commitment from both the Syrian people and the international community to overcome the deep-seated divisions and rebuild a nation shattered by conflict. Only through collective effort and a shared vision of peace can Syria hope to emerge from the ashes of war and embark on a journey towards lasting stability and prosperity. The international community's response to the regime change in Syria has been a mixed bag of cautious observation and hesitant engagement. While some nations have expressed a willingness to work with the new administration, others remain wary, particularly given the HTS's history and the complex geopolitical landscape. The question of sanctions, imposed on the previous regime, has emerged as a key point of contention. The new Syrian government has appealed for the lifting of sanctions, arguing that they are hindering efforts to rebuild the war-torn nation and provide essential services to its beleaguered population. They contend that the sanctions, originally intended to pressure the Assad regime, are now counterproductive and only serve to punish ordinary Syrians who have already endured immense suffering. The international community is divided on how to proceed. Some nations, particularly those who supported the Syrian opposition during the civil war, have called for a cautious approach, arguing that the sanctions should remain in place until there is clear evidence that the new government is committed to democracy, human rights, and accountability for past atrocities. They fear that lifting the sanctions prematurely could embolden hardline elements within the new government and undermine efforts to achieve a lasting peace. Others, however, have expressed a willingness to consider easing the sanctions, arguing that the Syrian people should not be held hostage to the past. They believe that engaging with the new government and providing economic assistance is crucial to preventing further instability and creating the conditions for a successful transition. The debate over sanctions highlights the complex challenges facing Syria and the international community as they navigate the uncharted waters of this new era. As Syria grapples with the complexities of political transition and reconstruction, the shadow of its neighbor Israel looms large. Long a source of regional tension, Israel's actions in recent weeks have further complicated the situation, raising concerns about a potential escalation of violence. The Israeli government's approval to double the population of its settlements in the Golan Heights, a disputed territory internationally recognized as Syrian, has drawn widespread condemnation. This move, widely seen as an attempt to solidify Israeli control over the Golan Heights, has been met with outrage from the Arab world and beyond. The international community, including the United States, has criticized the decision as a violation of international law and a setback to peace efforts. The Syrian government has condemned the move as illegal and vowed to reclaim the territory. Adding to the tensions, Israel has launched airstrikes targeting military sites in Syria, claiming they were aimed at Iranian-backed militias operating in the country. These strikes, which have reportedly caused casualties, have further inflamed regional tensions and raised concerns about a wider conflict. The Syrian government has condemned the attacks as aggression and accused Israel of supporting terrorist groups operating within its borders. Israel's actions have cast a pall over Syria's fragile transition, jeopardizing efforts to stabilize the country and rebuild its shattered infrastructure. The international community faces the challenge of reining in Israeli aggression, while simultaneously engaging with the new Syrian government to prevent further escalation and create the conditions for a lasting peace. Beneath the surface of political upheaval, Syria remains in the throes of a profound humanitarian crisis, a stark reminder of the devastating toll of years of relentless conflict. Millions of Syrians are internally displaced, their lives uprooted by violence and their homes reduced to rubble. The majority of the population is in dire need of humanitarian assistance, struggling to access basic necessities such as food, water, shelter, and healthcare. The United Nations estimates that over 70% of the Syrian population requires humanitarian aid, a staggering figure that reflects the immense scale of the crisis. Years of conflict have decimated the country's infrastructure, crippling its healthcare system, and leaving millions without access to essential medical care. The COVID-19 pandemic has further exacerbated the situation, overwhelming the already strained healthcare system and pushing the country to the brink. Children, the most vulnerable victims of this protracted crisis, bear the brunt of the suffering. Many have been orphaned or separated from their families, deprived of education, and left with deep psychological scars. Malnutrition rates are alarmingly high, and access to clean water and sanitation remains a significant challenge, increasing the risk of disease outbreaks. The international community faces an immense challenge in responding to this humanitarian catastrophe. While aid organizations are working tirelessly to provide relief to those in need, their efforts are often hampered by ongoing insecurity, bureaucratic hurdles, and a lack of funding. The situation demands a concerted and sustained effort from the international community to alleviate the suffering of the Syrian people and help them rebuild their lives. In the aftermath of conflict, the journey towards rebuilding begins. Families, communities, and entire cities face the daunting task of piecing together their shattered lives. It's a time filled with hope, but also with many questions. How do we heal from such deep wounds? Where do we even start? The answers aren't always clear, but the resilience of the human spirit shines through. Together, step by step, they seek to rebuild not just structures, but their very sense of normalcy and peace. It's a long road ahead, but every small effort counts. The United Nations has been playing a pivotal role in addressing the crisis in Syria. Through various initiatives, it aims to provide humanitarian aid and foster peace talks. The path forward is complex, requiring coordinated efforts and unwavering commitment from the international community. Yet there is hope that with continued support, a sustainable resolution can be achieved. Leading experts from around the world have shared their insights on Syria's future. They emphasize the importance of inclusive governance, economic recovery, and social cohesion. While challenges remain, these experts believe that with the right strategies, Syria can rebuild and thrive once again. It's a long journey, but the expertise and dedication of these professionals provide a beacon of hope. Reconciliation and reconstruction are crucial for Syria's healing process. This involves not only rebuilding infrastructure but also mending the social fabric torn apart by years of conflict. Communities must come together, and trust must be restored. It's a daunting task, but with perseverance and collective effort, Syria can rise from the ashes and rebuild a prosperous future. In these trying times, global solidarity is more important than ever. The international community must unite to support Syria's path to recovery. By providing aid, sharing knowledge, and fostering dialogue, we can help create a brighter future for the Syrian people. Together we can make a difference and ensure that Syria's story is one of resilience and renewal.